Hello, everyone. This is Team 2, and this is our version of the EIS simulation. Team 2 is Robin, Joseph, myself, and Camille, and we are pleased to go through the simulation pieces and kind of the learnings of what we have picked up over this endeavor.
We had a really rough start. As you can see, we couldn't even get anyone interested for the first 11 days. We wanted to stick with our bottom up strategy, so we first focused on various initiatives, thinking that's where we would get our first employees interested. We used networks, coffee breaks, task forces, and questionnaires, reaching out and seeking advice, maybe some covert lobbying, but nothing. We couldn't even get anyone interested. So we had started out trying to get some face to faces and seek advice with Anne's direct reports, but again, no luck. We soon discovered Anne had a very loyal management team, so that really ate up our starting days. Even though we had tried to face with Anne on day 5, she had canceled that meeting and we were left not quite sure what to do. After trying all these initiatives without one interested person, we knew we needed to try Anne again, so we set up another face to face, and she was very receptive. We continued along that path using our strategy to reach the end of the simulation. We used up the time of the 121 days. At the end of those 121 days, we only were able to adopt 12 of the 22 employees. Everyone else had reached the trying stage at the end of the simulation except for Ivan. We tried to face with him again at the end and trying to get him to the at least the interested stage, which he did, but he held out to the end of the simulation. Overall score days of adopters was 10. We used 55 decisions to get our 12 adopters. Although we were able to get 12 of the 22 fully adopted with the software, we were not able to get all 22. We did earn 221 of the 243 attitude points. I think if we had not wasted those first 11 days, we would have gained everyone's buy in. One more week and we would have had all 22.
As we went through the EIS simulation, we completed a total of 55 different strategic moves. On the slide here, I've posted up every single one of those moves that came from the EIS simulation. And there was a couple of themes that really unveiled themselves to us. So for the first part, for the strategy, what we had looked to do was work from the bottom up due to the fact it was known that Anne, the CEO, was really roadblocking against us coming in and making a big change. So we tried that tactic, and what we tried networks, coffee break, task force, questionnaires, seek advice, and what was happening is that for the first about 10 different tries that we did, we were being blocked by Anne specifically. Once we'd figured out we were being blocked by Anne, even though we were meeting with lower level managers, we decided to go ahead and do the seeking advice and then personal profile and then face-to-face meetings. So with the personal profile, what had happened was we were able to go ahead and uncover all of the profiles of everyone that is in the simulation. Of course, once we realized that, we realized we should have done that in the beginning. And then the real unlocking was the face-to-face meeting. So once we did face-to-face meetings, we were able to go ahead and really create a commonality with each of these folks. So if you look at section 29 all the way down to 43, once the face-to-face meetings took place, then we were able to really see a big movement. We were able to go ahead and do an internal magazine, seek advice, do a pilot test. The big one was on step 52, which was the management training, and that's where we really saw a large jump. So that was just a little bit into our tactics. I have all the tactics listed here. But again, knowing what we know now, we would have done personal profile and face-to-face right from the get-go.
Do define clear roles and responsibilities for driving the innovation agenda. Well, we had a good strategy. We should have spent more time looking into and breaking things out by reviewing everyone's personnel profile. We reviewed Anne's at the beginning, trying to find the things she was interested in and tagging everyone into her. We really should have focused on her employees first. So do start at the top with the CEO. Align the leadership around the importance of the innovation. We should have started with Anne. We should have pursued Anne a little harder. We didn't do that. We were trying to get buy-in from her leadership around her, and that really didn't work. Once we got her interested and open to the idea of the implementation of the EIS software, we had the editor of the internal magazine include an article about what EIS could do, and it was a big hit. We moved several employees at that point from the interested stage to the trying stage. So do use the networks to get buy-in. We use those initiatives too early in the game, but wait until everyone has reached the awareness stage. I think at that point, everyone has a little bit of a building block, and they'll have a better idea to convince each other to go with the initiative. And do spend more time focusing on those individuals that are lagging along during the change process. We did some of those face-to-faces with those guys that would not leave that trying or the interested stage, and it really worked as we went along. Uh, some don'ts. Don't start with the group until you get a feel for the culture of the organization. Really take the time, do some due diligence and work and look around to see what's going on to try to get an idea of what initiatives would work with that group of people. And we had a hard learn don't go behind the CEO's back to get her people on her side, on your side. That was our probably our biggest mistake. We tried really hard to ask for advice and the covert lobbying with her direct reports, and it backfired greatly. We thought we could get some good insight into how Anne worked, and this would help us get an in with her. We wasted many days with that. That was probably the biggest lesson we learned.
Behavior and long held habits are not easy to change, and change is always messy. This is very important to remember, especially when making a list of changes. Although lists are quite easy to make, actual change is difficult. Give meaning to buzz phases and be clear and concise with regards to the type of change that this will bring to day-to-day operation. Going to the root of what we are trying to achieve as an organization will go a long way. Stay clear and concise. Sharing information with employees as soon as possible has a lot of benefits. For instance, when the change is very drastic, where it really changes the organizations, employees without knowledge of what is happening have their fear and insecurity drastically raised. This causes the organization to waste precious operation time, and getting back to order, understanding, and most importantly productivity may take time. Give people multiple opportunities to share concerns, offer ideas, ask questions. Management should make it a priority on following with answers and concerns. This keeps people focused on change without unnecessary panic attacks. The more people are involved in the process, the fewer you'll have walking out the door, stressed, or worse, staying and acting as internal saboteurs.
So Team 2 really learned quite a bit from the EIS simulation. It was great to have a chance to be parachuted into another company and just trying to really break down those walls. On this screenshot here, what we have is we have all of the managers, the CEO, and the levels of aware, interested, trying, and adopter. One of the big things that, one of the big takeaways that I had learned is that you're not able to break through the walls or try a big initiative until you have the buy-in. So, for example, when we were meeting with Ken Lee or Omar or Quentin, we needed to do a face-to-face to really get to know them, who they are, and then we were able to be able to take that to the next level with that management meeting. So the implications there are going to be when looking to introduce something new, you have to start at the ground level. You have to start with the basics and get to know people on a personal level before you go and you try to really bring your initiatives, straight in, and the management training right from the get-go. We did have some, I wouldn't say failures, but we had a person, Ivan Skull, we could not get him past the interested stage. There are some people that simply won't adopt to what you're trying to do, and that's okay. There will be those people. They were all made aware, and a majority of them made it past the interested phase, except for Ivan, and then Bart and Cynthia were also right at the tip of the interested phase. The one takeaway too is that we were able to make such an impression that Anne, the CEO, who was not allowing us to get deeper in, we made it to the trying phase, which I am extremely pleased with. She was very much not in favor of the EIS, so the fact that we got to this level was great. But again, it's going to be, you need to meet people find their commonalities, find out what they want to get out of things, and then you're able to go ahead and approach it, whatever your initiative might be. So I'm going to use this both for this EIS simulation, and then also in the real world. So you got to remember that when you're in the workplace, people do business with people they like is very, very true. All right, thank you so much for listening to our presentation. If you have any questions about the presentation or any questions about anything, what we did with the EIS simulation, please feel free to reach out to us. You can email us, or if we have another webinar, we'd love to talk about it. Thank you for your time and have a great day.